Join me in today's video for a cozy reading vlog and review of the YA fantasy book for No Mortal Creature by Keshe Chow. Guys, so I'm here for reading update for No Mortal Creature. So I've made it to chapter 24, page 205. And so I am a little less than halfway through because this book is about 467 pages long. And so far, I am really enjoying this. So let me tell you a little bit about what this is about, and then I'll share more of my first thoughts. Our story follows teenager Gia, who at the beginning of the book is in the forest looking for a certain plant for her sick grandmother. Unfortunately, though, she ends up being captured by an enemy of her people, and one of her captors ends up stabbing her through the stomach with his sword, and so she ends up dying. However, she doesn't stay dead. Instead, she ends up coming back to life, surprising both her captors and herself. Her captors then deem her a witch, take her prisoner, and drag her off to see their prince. Eventually, she ends up meeting with their prince, who offers her a deal. Retrieve a certain item from the spirit world for him, and in return he will let her go and not kill her for being a witch. Gia, however, refuses him, and so he leaves her locked in a room, telling her to let him know when she changes her mind. And it is when she is in this room that she realizes that she can now see ghosts, as she comes face to face with her childhood friend and first crush, Lynn, who died a year ago after betraying her and breaking her heart. And Gia ends up convincing Lynn to help her escape. However, her escape plan ends up failing, and she ends up once again coming face to face with the prince. And so the two of them end up having a heart-to-heart chat, and Gia ultimately convinces him to let her go, saying that if he lets her go tend to her sick grandmother, then she will retrieve the item that he wants for him. However, secretly, she is planning not to honor their deal. But the prince is a little bit naive and sheltered, so he takes her at her word and agrees to the deal. And so our story goes from there. So as I mentioned, I am very much enjoying this book so far. It's just been so far a very fun read, and the characters of this book are definitely a big part of why I am enjoying it so much as I am right now. Especially our main female character, Gia, the prince, and Lynn. And I really enjoy all three of them on their own as characters, but when Lynn and the prince interact with Gia, I just love the dynamics that each of them have, and their interactions are just so much fun to read. And Gia is a strong, driven character who will do anything to save her beloved grandmother. And she won't let anyone stand in her way, including the two potential love interests, the prince and Lynn. And the two of them, the prince and Lynn, are very much like day and night. And the prince on paper is Gia's enemy, and so on instinct she wants to hate him. And at first he does seem very condescending and arrogant, but during Gia's failed escape attempt, we see that this is actually not the case, that he actually seems to be a gentle, tortured soul that is willing to trust Gia. And so we see that through him willing to trust Gia, that he is a little bit naive, a little bit sheltered, and wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit. And in contrast, our other love interest, Lynn, is definitely more of a bad boy. He is not afraid to get his hands dirty, and during this first part of the book, he does some things that are very questionable, and even our main character, Gia, is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he just did that. What happened to the boy that I used to know, the boy that I grew up with? And he also likes to push Gia's buttons, and so their interactions and dynamic and banter is just so fun to read. And it seems like he deeply cares for Gia, but also he's definitely hiding some big secrets, so it's kind of how much can you actually trust him? And also add to that that he apparently betrayed her before he died. And so I want to know like what this betrayal was. Exactly what did he do? And so I am enjoying both the prince and Lynn's characters. However, I will say that so far we have seen more of Lynn than the prince, and so I'm hoping that in like the upcoming chapters we'll get to see more of the prince. And so far, I would say that while I am enjoying both Lynn and the prince as characters, I am enjoying Lynn's character just a little bit more. He's just so far more interesting and more intriguing and very like mysterious. And there's just like so many questions I have about his character. So for the first 100 pages, it was definitely the characters that drew me in. But now, at the point where I am in the book, the plot is really starting to pick up. And the magic system is also intertwined with the plot. And so the magic system is another part of this book that has me intrigued. So we learn that Lynn's people had magic, and everyone in her village had a certain magical ability. And these abilities seem to range widely, like they could be a mental magical ability or they could be a physical magical ability. And so it seems like the magic system is very much a soft magic system, and the possibilities of it are kind of endless and infinite because someone could have like pretty much any type of power. And so it's been fun seeing the different powers that different people have. And at the point where I'm at in the story right now, so much is happening, and I have so many questions that I need the answers to. And so I'm really excited to read more of this book. Hi, so I am here for reading update because I've made it to chapter 41, page 360. So I have about 100 pages left in here. And so since my last update, I have been really, really enjoying this. I feel like depending on how these last 100 pages go, this has the potential of being a 5-star read for me. And right now I'd say it's about 4.5. And I've also listened to this a little bit on audiobook, and I realized I have been saying the main character's name wrong. I hear Gia, but it's more like Gia, which I still might not be 100% pronouncing it correctly, but I will try my best. And so the audiobook is really good too, so I do recommend it if you like audiobooks. And in my last update, I know I mentioned that I wanted more scenes with Gia and the prince, Prince Essien. Literally right after that update in the next chapter that I read, we got more of Prince Essien. And so that made me really happy. And I really love the dynamic between him and Gia. You very much get like sweet, innocent romance vibes from them. And there's like lots of yearning going on. And Prince Essien is just very much a cinnamon roll at heart. And then after getting those scenes with the two of them, we go back to getting scenes with Gia and Lynn, the other love interest. And their romance is so angsty and messy, but in the best way possible, that I'm just like eating it up. And at this point, like I don't even know which love interest I'm rooting for. I really love both of them. And so I don't know who I want Gia to end with in the end. And then in addition to the romantic drama that is going on in here, the plot has also been really ramping up. And so I'm very interested to see where that goes and to see what happens next. And so this morning, I am going to try to finish this before I have to head off to work this afternoon. So I'm going to go hop back into this, and I'll be back with my final thoughts once I finish the book. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, something gonna happen that I like thought about a while ago and then kind of forgot. Oh. Ah. The end of chapter 44. Oh my gosh. Hi, so it is the next day. I did not end up finishing this before I went to work yesterday, but I'm now on page 429, chapter 48, and I only have 40 pages left. So for real this time, I'm going to finish this up. They're so cute. Oh. So I just finished this, and yep, I'm giving this 5 stars. It's getting 5 stars. This was so good. Like, this was amazing. I wasn't expecting to love this as much as I did, but now I'm like, I need to like, I know this author has another book that came out last year, The Girl with No Reflection. I'm gonna need to read that one now at some point. And also, the way this ended, I thought the ending was beautiful. So for whatever reason, I was thinking this was a series, but I think this is a standalone because of the way it ended. And if that's the case, I am perfectly happy with this being a standalone. I thought the ending was perfect. And overall, like, my absolute favorite thing about this book was definitely the romance, the love triangle that was going on with Gia and Lin and Essien. It was just so good. Both love interests, like, they were super well developed, and I was rooting for both of them. And I really, all the way to the end, couldn't choose who I wanted her to be with. Like, they were just, her relationships and her dynamic with both the love interests were just superb. And like, you get the best of both worlds with love interest, because if you like angsty, hot and cold romance, you get that with Lin. But if you like more of like a sweet, innocent romance, you get that with Essien. And so I really love both of those types of romances, and I think this book did both of them really well. And then the other thing that I thought was really strong in this book was the world building. I thought the depiction of the afterlife was very interesting and very different, like, from anything else I've ever read before. And also, like, the spooky, creepy ghost imagery that is in here is just is done so well. And so, like, this is like a perfect book for this time of year, for spooky season in particular, because of like the creepy ghost imagery and like the creepiness and darkness of the afterlife. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on For No Mortal Creature. Let me know down below if you read this one, what you thought of it. Thank you so much for watching. And I do plan to put this video up on Halloween, so happy Halloween. I hope everyone has had a great fall, great spooky season, and that everyone has a fun and safe Halloween. And until next time, bye!